Today's episode is brought to you by DB. DB is a Scandinavian brand that makes backpacks and bags to help people on the move stay ready for anything. From the streets to the peaks, DB's gear is travel tested by some of the world's best athletes, adventurers, and creators. Over the past decade, DB has designed and developed, released, and refined the best bags on the market. With DB's patent hook-up system, you are able to attach smaller products to your backpack, roller, or tote. When I travel to Chicago in September for Top Guy weekend, I need some great luggage, and DB is just that. We are teaming up with DB to exclusively offer our listeners 10% off your next purchase by using the code POD10, that's POD 10, or going to the link that are in the show notes. DB, it's time to move on, time to get going.
Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
It's time for the great episode of The Ringside Rant with your host from the hills of West Virginia, J.D. Justin Davis. And from Rochester, New York, this is RJ. It's Friday. It's 9 a.m. You know what that means. Another episode of the Ringside Rant with you this week. I'm the man with the magical voice, RJ. He is the man of 1,000 smoked meats, Mr. JD Justin Davis. Justin, what's up, bud?
That's right. We're smoking some salmon. We're smoking some salmon on the back deck this evening. So that's right.
Now, how do you, because you do the chips, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you do the flavored chips or you just do regular?
Oh, yeah. We got 3 different flavors rolling out there. I got hickory, cherry, and apple.
All at once or just separate?
Separate. Sometimes I'll mix the hickory with the fruit to get some of the harder hickory smoke with the fruit smoke. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, for that salmon tonight, I went just straight cherry wood on it.
Yeah, I would think, I would go with cherry when you're doing something like a fish that's will be somewhat tender. You'd want to get that fruit flavor, cherry, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and salmon, they definitely take in that smoke flavor, so you don't want to hit it with a hard smoke like hickory. We're starting off with our in the weeds conversation. To show off.
So Devin Dowling, you're welcome. It was bound to happen sooner or later, to be honest with you, but
hello everybody out there. It's good to be back and good to have all of our listeners back. Excited for our topic this week. We're going back to 1996, our 25-year anniversary of a nitro. No, not a nitro, of a Hog Wild. Sorry.
Hog Wild. This is the one and only Hog Wild, because after this it would be called Road Wild.
That's right.
And I'll be being in Sturgis, North Dakota. This was one of those pay-per-views, Justin, that unique for 1996, because normally you think professional wrestling, you think Sturgis Motorcycle Rally, you don't think that those two would really cross paths until 1996.
Probably shouldn't have.
Right, but at that point, correct me if I'm wrong.
Harlem Heat would probably be glad if it wouldn't have crossed.
Well, yeah, but at this point, correct me if I'm wrong. I've never been to the lovely state of North Dakota, but I'm pretty sure there's not too much happening in the state.
Yeah, neither have I. I think that North and South Dakota might be 49 and 50 when I eventually visit all 50 states. That might be the last 3 on the list.
Right. But yeah, it's one of those unique pay-per-views.
My mom and dad are bikers. They've got their own Harley, but I've never been on one of those death traps, and I have no desire to be.
My wife back when we were dating in college, and one of our, 3 breakups I guess you could separations, whatever the hell you want to call them. Anyways, this isn't like
she tried 3 times and couldn't get rid of your
she
ass.
tried 3 times. Yeah, she tried 3 times to get rid of me, and she's got me for the rest of her freaking life. No, and so more into the weeds, Devin.
First time she broke up with him, he had hair. The second time she broke up with him, he had like a really bad receding hairline. Third time, he was just bald.
Yeah. And that was the only time where I actually I bought a refrigerator in college because I ended up punching. I used to have a very bad temper. So whenever I got pissed, I punched something.
That makes sense.
Not people, just stupid inanimate objects like fencing and refrigerators and
should have
walls.
punched yourself for being a slapdick.
Yeah, exactly. And that's probably why I got scars on my knuckles now, but I have no idea where we're going with this, but motorcycles. She in our little spat that we had, she became friends with a guy that had motorcycles, and she got infatuated with motorcycles and all that crap, and then she came back and she hasn't looked at one since. So I guess she was a real winner of the whole situation.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's because she needs a real man to drive her around on one, and she knows she don't have that. So that's where she's at with that.
So anyways, next week I'm going to have a new co-host, Justin. It will be no longer, we're going to be future endeavored him. So thank you for your months of,
it was a good few
dedication.
months.
Yeah, it was a good few months. Work. Yeah. Well, so hog wild, Justin. It was interesting to go back and look at it now. Being, what did we say? This is what, 96?
Mm-hmm.
And just for that time period, it's like that's when like motorcycle clubs, motorcycle rallies were like a hot ticket. And I'm sure they still are even more. But this is 25 years ago, man. And it's like, okay, you wouldn't see these two paths cross.
Yeah. And it is an interesting, kind of, I mean, you can kind of understand like the demographic of a lot of wrestling fans kind of falls into that more, rural, middle income type of class that these people would probably fall into as well. So you would think maybe you have a crosshatch of fans there. I don't know if this crowd really turned out to be that way. But one thing I like about it, it's an outdoor event. I love outdoor events like we talked about last week. They had a Nitro and now pay-per-view, both being outside back to back. I just like outdoor events. I think they're more fun. I like WrestleMania 9 at Caesar's Palace or whatever. I just thought that was fun. Like I said, I always love Club La Vila. So
of course you would.
This is cool to have it outside. The fans, I mean, when they do that overlook with the helicopter, it doesn't look like a ton of fans, you know what I mean? So that's, for me, that kind of hurts the shot a little bit, but it's still kind of cool just being outside and all those bikers and shit. I wish they could have found kind of a cooler location at Sturgis to hold it outside, but I don't know if there is. I've never been there. There may not be.
Well, and like you said, with it being an outside event, you got to run the risk. Obviously, this is the middle of summer, but you run the risk of weather hampering that, as we saw at WrestleMania. And I've never been a huge fan of it if it's done correctly. And I haven't really seen one that's really been done correctly, because you have, you have to run the risk of weather being one, and two, part of the stadiums usually that you have to have them in because they're outdoors. You get sunshine, it's gonna be in your face, so you can't see the event. You're gonna have to look up at the jumbotron or whatever. So I get it, but I don't get it at the same time. I've never been a huge fan of it, but one guy that I am a huge fan of is Mr. Rich Palladino. Let's send it up to the ring to him at this moment.
Ringside Rant fans, it's the opening contest.
So we briefly touched on the whole aerial views from the helicopters at this event, Justin. The only gripe that I'm going to have about it is the fact that you could hear the damn helicopter. And I get it. It's 1996. You don't have the technology like you do now. The aircrafts aren't like the wear today. Then don't do it, man. I don't think it needed it. There had to be and somebody out there, if you're technology savvy or camera work savvy, let me know. But I'm pretty sure that there wasn't a hell of a lot of rigs that you could use for your camera at this time where you could get the whole.
If I had to guess, though, I would bet Eric would want the helicopter noise in because it makes it seem like a big event. You know, you got helicopters flying over, media covering it. I got a feeling Eric would probably like that.
Yeah, I guess, but it's just like how, I don't know. I just watching this one back and I'm like, okay, I want to listen to the damn announcers, and I don't want to hear a damn helicopter. I hear enough helicopters flying over my head as it is during the week here in home, but it's just like
try living behind a hospital. I have one fly over my head every hour. It's no big
right
deal.
There you go.
Maybe that's why it didn't bother me so much.
There you go.
I just thought it was my house.
Yeah, I thought it was just your house. What the hell? But it it just didn't really do much for me. I know now you can get a lot of those blimps and whatnot because they don't have that much sound.
I know that one of our friends on Twitter said that this was a bad show and that some bad shows are, make for good things to talk about. I watched this show. I thought it was damn good. I really did.
Because if you look at this card, they taped a whole hell of a lot of Saturday night. WCW Saturday Night here. They have 8 freaking matches for Saturday night that they taped here. And I don't know. I just never. I get it. We actually had the the Renegade was facing Diamond Dallas Page in the Saturday night main event. 6 minutes and 53 seconds. 6 minutes too long.
Well, it's the Renegade.
Well,
at least this was the end of the Renegade's run, I would imagine.
Yeah, but like I said before, if you look at this card, it's pretty damn solid. There's not really too many weak points on it, I think. But like I said, you go back and watch this. It's not
the card opens
how it ends up. It is pretty bad if you look at it as a whole. It's not bad. It's just certain parts that were completely booked correctly.
It opens up with Rey Mysterio and the Ultimate Dragon.
You can't go wrong with that.
It was fucking fantastic. Then a Scott Norton Ice Train blow off their tag team match, which whatever. That's a get me up match. Medusa Bull Nakano, whatever. But then you have Benoit Malenko, Harlem Heat and the Steiners, Ric Flair and Eddie Guerrero, Outsiders and Lex and Sting, and then Hogan and Giant. I thought overall there were some really good matches on this card. And some of the stories, were there for them. The Flair and Guerrero match was kind of cold as far as storyline goes, but I liked it.
Right.
Now,
the other thing that we did see, and I know they talked about this, I believe, I want to say it was WHW that they talked about it. What in the good God were Tony, Dusty, and Bobby wearing? They look like, I don't know. It was
bad. And of course, the worst one was Tony. Tony looked like a fucking idiot. I don't know what that ensemble you would call, but holy hell. I think we should try and redo that at Top Guy Weekend. We need to get him back in that same outfit somehow.
Oh my God, that would have.
We're going to see. I'm gonna have to get a hold of Efra and see if we can pull this off.
You got to get
You know, him
gotta
and
get
Tony are
somebody
close
to
personal
actually
friends.
cut a promo with him wearing that and try not to crack. There you go.
Yeah.
But it's do you think that part of the comedy aspect of it sold well, or was it just basically, hey, time or Warner Media wants you to wear this shit?
At this time, you know, they were starting to move into theme pay-per-views. Like I remember, I think for Canadian Stampede or something, I think
They were cowboys, right?
Vince and everybody were dressed up with cowboy hats and shit.
Well, didn't they come out on horses or something?
I don't think they did there. But anyways,
Okay.
you know, announcers starting to kind of dress up and WCW done this a lot afterwards and a little bit before. So it's just a normal kind of thing. But Tony, man, Tony, if you guys haven't watched this, go back and just watch the first 3 minutes of the pay-per-view. Just to check Tony. Well,
you don't even need to watch the rest of it. Just the first.
First of all, skip the terrible Eric vignette at the beginning of the pay-per-view. That was horrible.
Yeah.
There was a little Eric Bischoff vignette talking about who knows. It was not good. Not good shit, pal.
No. But you mentioned the Bull Nakano Medusa match. If you remember, they had this exact same match at SummerSlam 94.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back and watch it, this match was uncomparable to that one. I think the WWF one at SummerSlam was a lot better than this. I'm not saying that this was bad match. It just had a crappy ending where you see the referee screwing up the count. And was it on purpose, or do you think it was part of the storyline to kind of continue this rivalry? Because they're pretty much at this point, WCW women's division was obsolete.
Yeah, non-existent. It was literally just a match you would throw on the pay-per-view just to have a women's match. You know,
but
it was.
Do you think just the 90s in general, there really wasn't, until you got into the late 90s, there really wasn't any women's wrestling. And the stuff that was because what was this, man? This match,
WWE had more women's wrestling in the 80s than they did in the 90s.
Right. And they gave this match 5 minutes and 21 seconds, the Medusa and Bull Nakano match. That was even more than the damn Ice Train match with Flash Norton.
I think most fans would be okay with that. We'd rather look at Medusa for 5 minutes than
coming out on a Harley, by the way.
Yes, yeah. That was awesome. Yeah. That was the best part of that match, her coming out on that Harley.
Well, and leaving, of course, but that's
Ultimo Jag and Rey Mysterio match was really good, guys. If I could recommend one match on this pay-per-view to watch, it would be it. And Rey is 21 years old in that match.
It's unreal. It's unreal to go back and 25 years after the fact, because he's 40. Even the fact that he's 46 now, it still blows my mind. But when you start in the business, when you're, what was he, 16, 17, somewhere around there? I want to say.
Probably. Yeah.
When you start that young and you take care of yourself as best as you can, you're going to have a pretty decent career, you know? But the question I've always wondered, because of that cruiserweight division, were you a fan of Mysterio versus Dragon or Mysterio versus Eddie?
Yes.
Well, right, but if you had to choose.
Oh gosh, I don't know, because Eddie is a top 5 wrestler for me, and I love his matches in WCW a lot. But I love Ultimo Dragons too, but probably Ray and Eddie. But I really loved Ultimo Dragon too. Just there was those 3 guys and a couple others, Jericho obviously, and some others. Really, that thing was the strongest thing going in WCW as far as wrestling goes.
But that's and Eric has discussed this on his show, is that's what set him apart from the rest of the wrestling. That's what set him apart from the rest of the wrestling in WCW as well as WWF. And then once ECW really became relevant, semi-relevant, whatever you want to call it, they started to have a lot of their Japanese wrestlers from Mexico, Mexican wrestling, whatever, still come over and still do well, but you couldn't hand or hold a candle to the cruiserweight division.
What really surprised
in WCW.
me in this match, though, because I wasn't used to Ultimo Dragon being a heel, and he had to play the heel in this match up because he's, the ultimate babyface with Ray, so he was playing the heel in the match for sure. And it just, I kind of liked seeing him work as a heel. It was kind of fun.
Dragon, you mean?
Yeah, because I just always remember him being a face back then.
But you also have to take into account the only time I've never really seen Ray as a heel outside of the Filthy Animals.
No, I don't think so.
And even that was a cup of coffee in WCW.
Yeah, and I don't think that was. Were they real big heels or were they kind of like cool heels?
They were kind of the cool heels because that's when he had the horns glued to his forehead.
That's what you should try for that forehead of yours. That might help. There's a little fire.
There isn't enough glue that could stick to this ginormous forehead that I sported here. I got to the point now, Justin, that I'm like, screw it. I'm not wearing hats anymore. I'll just let it grow. And if it grows, it grows. If I got the whole Baron Corbin thing going.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. And
that's the glare right off the top of my head too. Yeah, that's and this week's episode, this week's sing along is brought to you by.
You guys didn't know I was gonna go back to Sunday school this week, did you?
Oh jeez. Oh God, don't remind me. Oh my God, that was just terrible. That's the one thing that I told my wife. I said, if I grew up, and I'm sure you probably did as well. You grew up in a religious household. You went to church every Sunday. You went to religious ed every Sunday.
We see how much that helped me.
Well, right. Look at me too. Christ. And
we'll go ahead. I think the second match we can skip, right? Scott Norton and Ice Train. We all know what that is. We don't need to talk about it.
We don't need. Yeah, we definitely don't need to talk about that. Where I was going to go was the match right after. Medusa's match here was Benoit and Malenko.
Yeah.
For me, this match was the match of the night for me.
I thought it was it went into double overtime, so it has to be long.
Right.
But before it even got into overtime, I think it was 26 or 8 minute match. It was a little long for me. But the match ended up being over a half an hour, which, with Benoit Malenko, I'm not going to complain. It's better than a half an hour with, Giant Gonzalez. But
Elegante.
And of course, woman interfered and got Benoit's victory in the end. So, worked out. Good little match. Took a little bit too long, but
what I found interesting, just the Benoit Malenko rivalry in general, it didn't need a title to get over because they're such great wrestlers in general that really, I may get flack for this, but the fan base never really appreciated. The booking team never really appreciated. And, obviously we know the ending part of their two careers, but I just think that they could have done so much more with these guys. So in WCW and WWE,
I think this feud got over though because they were so similar. They were both kind of we don't talk a lot, we just kick ass type guys. So it's like their feud kind of worked because it's like, well, which one's going to win? You know what I mean? So now, I kind of liked it.
Do you think 96? Say they would get sick of their booking here, we'll say. Do you think, say they jump ship to go to WWF, do you think that we'd still be talking about them today if they went in 96 compared to 2000?
No.
Or they went 2000, right?
They went, in 2000. No, I don't think. Vince wouldn't have used him. He would have just, they would have been in and out. Probably went back to WCW.
They're probably being made with like occupations. They'd probably be like a dentist or something, or plumber.
Yeah, Dean Malenko's little, so he's like an electrician. He crawls under your house in the crawl space.
He'd be an exterminator. There you go.
maybe a horse jockey.
I'm choking. Yep. Give me mouth to mouth.
The stud Dean Malenko. I like that gimmick.
Oh God, I'm dying. Whatever, that's cool. Not that I'm dying, but whatever. Unlike some other people, probably like to hear me dying. But
the fourth match was badass too, though. Steiner's and Harlem Heat, or not the fourth. I think it was fifth. I think I'm skipping one of them, but Steiner's and Harlem Heat. The crowd had big heat with Harlem Heat. I felt like in that match.
Well, but I think.
Well, we've already talked about that. We know that, but the crowd really had big heat. And I will say this: Harlem Heat was playing back into it pretty hard.
Yeah, but I think anywhere the Steiners went, the Steiners are over everywhere. Whether they're facing Harlem Heat, whether they're facing the Outsiders, whether they're facing whomever, they're not gonna get. They're over. They're gonna be the faces. Whoever they're facing is gonna be the heels. That's pretty much what it boiled down to.
Yeah, but obviously, and I'm not saying this to cut everyone that drives a bike in a broad swath. Like I said, my parents have a Harley, but there seemed to be a racist element in this crowd that automatically. Now, Harlem Heat was playing the heels, so they were supposed to get heat. But according to Harlem Heat, there was some tough things said to them during that match. But like I said, Harlem Heat was definitely getting after it with the fans too. When I watched this, they were getting their heat, but they had it. And the match itself, though, I just love these two when they get together because they're both going to lay it in on each other. Mm-hmm. Hard hitting match, fun. Of course, it ends with when Colonel Parker hits Scott with the old powder to the eyes. The same thing Mr. Fuji got Brett with at WrestleMania 9. The powder, the salt to the eyes. So
I literally think before I do the run sheet every week, what one way can he work Bret Hart into this fucking episode each and every goddamn week?
I try to do it so smoothly for you to ignore it, and you always have to stop.
I have to acknowledge it because that's what draws the ratings through the roof.
I'm sure it is.
It's got to be our Bret Hart talk.
But so yeah, the heel Harlem Heat did win, so
right,
that was cool.
But like I said, Harlem Heat was always that team that everybody loved to hate, whether they were champions or not, wherever in the country they were. And that's why they're one of the best tag teams of all time, in my book anyways. So one group of workers to another, Ric Flair and Eddie Guerrero are up next.
Well, hold on. Before that,
no, we
also had a big Harley riding promo in between this match. And it was like Bischoff and
was that down the road, like going to?
Yes, and they videoed them all like riding their Harleys and shit, and it was a little long for a Harley riding promo. I'm like, what the fuck? Are we supposed to watch wrestling, or are we supposed to watch Bischoff and his friends ride fucking bikes?
I think the answer to that is yes.
So anyways, yes, then after that we have the U.S. Heavyweight Championship match with the champion Ric Flair against the challenger Eduardo Guerrero.
So the one thing that I took away from this match was a very young Eddie Guerrero.
Still in his white and red kind of
like his onesie.
Yeah.
And did you
it was kind of the same as a Bret Hart type gimmick there. Just saying.
Dramatic pause.
The double straps over the shoulders and then long pants. You know the gimmick.
It was two pieces.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll go on from that. Do you think Eddie Guerrero was like a pet project for Ric Flair? Because you've seen him work quite many times in this era. Do you think it was kind of, hey, I'm the face of the NWA. I'm the face of WCW. You know, you got a very long lineage, being in the Guerrero family. Why don't you come, hey, work with me, and we'll make magic or something? You think that was the case with these guys?
Yeah, I think Rick has an eye for workers.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the same reason he wanted to work with Bobby Eaton at that Clash of the Champions.
Right.
Same way here. I think he wanted to work with Eddie and see what they could do together. I also think that Rick wanted to show that he could still work with guys like Eddie.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think it was beneficial to both of them. It's going to put Eddie over, and it's going to make Rick look like he can still work with and go with the young guys. So I think that's what we have here. I think, you know, like we said, Rick liked Eddie. Flair, we always got to look at what Flair is wearing. What was Flair wearing for this U.S.
Red
Championship match? Well, he was, but he had the rare white robe on, just kind of an all white, which is a very pretty robe, one of my favorite ones. Great robe. And then he had the red trunks and boots, of course, which he wore a lot around 96, 97, WCW time, 98.
But he won, though.
Yes.
Kind of disparages the old adage of, hey, he only loses when he wears red.
Yeah.
Which...
So it was a great match. Like I said, I thought this pay-per-view was good. I thought there was some really good matches. I love this match. This is one of those that type of matches that is a rarity. You get to see Eddie in his prime and Rick before he got old. Like, he was already old, but you know what I mean, like WWE old.
Yeah, not WCW old. No, I get what you mean. And fighting over the US title, even, you know, you normally when you think Ric Flair, you think big gold. Not in the aspect here. I think that he was trying to bring prestige back to the U.S. title in this aspect.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it's just something for him to do, and Rick's always going to create, you know, some pizzazz in any angle. So put a little shine on the U.S. title, which it may have needed at the time. And Flair wins the match with Woman's help, of course. Woman is 2 for 2 for interference in this pay-per-view. She's got her men to win twice now with interference.
Just good at what she did. Let's say that much.
I wouldn't fuck with her.
I wouldn't either. So our next match, I just want to talk about the Outsiders once. It was a decent match for what it was worth. The Outsiders may not have been the most athletically gifted in the ring, clearly, but damn, man, they could tell a goddamn story in the ring without question.
Yeah, I wasn't over the moon about the match. I didn't hate the match. I think this was kind of with the Outsiders, yeah, they had a story to tell and they were telling it in this match. And I think what part of that story was this is kind of where we started seeing some shady Nick Patrick things going on at the end of matches.
Yeah. Yeah. This is pretty much the start of it. But I never completely understood it, but I'm sure we'll get to that later on. But main event of this pay-per-view,
Giant Hogan.
To me, this match was kind of meh. Okay, you could take it or leave it. I wasn't really looking forward to it. Didn't have really a lot of high expectations going into it. Watching it back, and I think the promo that Hogan did afterwards, after he won, spoiler alert, was better than the actual match. Because you see him come out, you get the NWO come out, basically taking out Beefcake.
Yeah, that was hilarious. For one thing, it took way too long for Hogan to come out to get in the ring at the beginning. Like, first of all, they took out Beefcake, which was hilarious. I'm all for that. Like, Beefcake brings him out a cake, and they were calling him the Booty Man. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Like, the Booty Man has brought Hogan a cake. And then they just beat the shit out of him, which was great to get more heel heat on Hogan, right? Then the Giant comes out and Hogan takes forever. Walks around the ring, taunts, takes forever to get in the ring. That was a little annoying. The weird thing was the crowd was still cheering Hogan.
Right. That was a sad part. It really was.
And it's not because if he would have still been a face, they probably would have been doing it. I think they liked his heel turn, even at the beginning of it, I think.
Yeah.
Hogan, this was one of my favorite parts of the match. Hogan did a double back scratch. So not only was the first back scratch not bad enough, now you're going to get two, motherfucker.
Well, he's a big guy, though.
Two back scratches in a row.
But he's a big guy. You got to scratch him double. Come on. He's got a big back. Come on.
Giant has, well, it's like that legend they say about Andre the Giant having, like, you know, a second row of teeth. You know, Paul White has an extra layer of back fat that you have to scratch through.
You can find Paul White. You can find him at JD2040 on Twitter. If you,
I'm not scared of no Paul White, brother.
Yeah, sure.
But this is where they
you'd have piss running down your leg, man.
Oh God! So this is also though where they spray paint the title for the first time with the NWO, and the Giant laid in the ring for like 10 minutes while Hogan was doing his whole spiel at the end. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I get out of their damn ring. Who cares?
He just
Nobody
laid
cares
there
about
dead
you.
While Hogan did like all his shit. Like,
get out of the damn ring, man. Just go away.
Overall, though, like I said, great show. I mean, guys, I've seen a lot of WCW shows. This is nowhere near the bottom.
Oh God, no! Give it about 3 or 4 years.
I mean, and even shows before this. I mean, I thought it was a good show. I can't say a lot bad about it at all, other than Tony's apparel and the way too long Harley promo and the Eric Bischoff vignette at the beginning. I could do without that too. Other than that, though, man, I'll take it. Good show.
Yeah.
Glad I had to go back and watch it again because honestly, I haven't seen that since 1996. I don't think.
But one guy that we have seen since 1996 is Mr. Rich Palladino. So let's send it up to ringside right now with him.
It's listener questions.
All right, Justin. So we are going to go straight to our listener question segment of the week. We have a couple questions from two of our most loyal listeners, Devin Dowling and Money Mike himself. First one comes from Devin Dowling. He wants to know what our motorcycle names would be.
Oh, man.
And they can't have Brett and or Hart in them for you.
Oh, man. I have no idea. I'm such a non-biker person. I don't even know. I do love Sons of Anarchy, though. So instead of JD, I'm just going to go Jax. I'm going to steal Jax's name.
Damn you. Damn you. God damn you. Because that's honestly, I was going to go Jax Wyatt as a Wyatt Earp from Tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
But now I can't do that. Now you just ruined it. You just ruined it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I feel like you should have a famous bald person's name. Like that would be your nickname in a
Curly Wyatt. There you go.
Curly, that'd be your biker name.
Just Curly. That just you don't even need a last name. You could just be Curly.
It's just Curly. Like yeah. Who wouldn't bury that dead bitch's body? Oh, Curly got it.
Oh, great! Now I'm concealing evidence. Thanks. I appreciate that. Now I'm accessory to murder. All
right, there's your answer, Devin.
That's probably
Devin's reaching. Devin is reaching down into the bottom of the barrel.
He's reaching. And speaking of reaching, Money
Mike's
Mike's
around. Speaking of reach around, Money Mike.
Hey, that's JD, Mike. That's not me. But anyways, no, it's all good. We're looking forward to seeing him in Chicago.
He knows that I am 0.0 scared of him. I will talk all the shit that I want to. I can't wait to meet Money Mom in a month now. We're counting 30 days down.
It's exactly a month from today. We're recording on the 3rd, but yeah, exactly a month. And then we'll be.
I know Mark Nelson's looking forward to meeting Money Mom from what I hear.
He's been looking forward to meeting her for months.
It's going to be like when Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth got married at SummerSlam. It's going to be a match made in heaven.
Yeah, and then the match made in hell is going to be Mark and Money Mike. Anyways, the questions we have from Money Mike this week are as follows. The first one out of 2 that he has is, which would you prefer as a wrestling performing in front of no live crowd, i.e. the Thunderdome, or performing in front of a crowd who has no knowledge of you or the wrestling product?
Yeah, I think I would rather if I'm Harlem Heat, I think I'd rather do the Thunderdome. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I guess any crowd's better than no crowd, though, if you want to be honest about it. So I'd probably go with the South Dakota dumbasses.
North Dakota, by the way.
Whatever, North Dakota, South Dakota, it's all the same thing to me. It's all Dakota, and I ain't going either one.
No. It's 2 completely different states, 2 completely different names. You couldn't be farther from the truth, and you're supposed to be an educator.
Supposed to be is a key word.
Exactly. That's why I said supposed to be an educator.
I got 2 more weeks. Don't remind me that I have a job.
Oh, and then when you go back, when do you go back? Labor Day?
The 16th
of August?
August, yeah.
Oh, you guys start earlier than us then, because Gavin doesn't go back.
The kids don't come till the 18th. So.
Oh, yeah, but we don't start until after Labor Day up here.
Oh, really?
Out here. Yeah,
Gotcha.
Well, you guys need as much help as you can get, I guess, right?
Well, apparently you guys don't need education up there. You're also smart.
Yeah, we're smart people. But no, I would go, honestly, I would rather go with at the Thunderdome in front of no crowd, because then for 2 reasons. One, then the performance could actually appreciate when there are fans around, which you're starting to see that now. And 2, I prefer my fans, if I'm a promoter, I would want the wrestling fans that are watching it to be familiar with it. Mm-hmm. Yes, they're paying. I get it. It's a business. They're paying money. They're there. They're buying merch. They're buying vending, whatever. But at the end of the day, you want them to come back. That's the problem.
I got a feeling when Money Mike has his first match with Charlotte Flair, he's going to want it to be no fans in attendance.
Well, he's had that match in his mind for how many years?
Because I can tell you he's going to underperform in that match. It's Dave Meltzer's going to look at that as a half a star, maybe, if that.
Well, if it was in Money Mike's bedroom, it would have been a 15-star.
What's the next question this slapdick has?
Okay. Well, come on. You just want to get out of here. Yeah, you got your salmon smoking or smamming or whatever you were calling it earlier. So his last question is as follows. Eric has always maintained the tentpole event for WCW was Halloween Havoc. Do you think it would have been a better booking decision to wait until Halloween Havoc 96 to crown Hogan as a WCW champion?
No. First of all, nobody in 96 thought that Halloween Havoc was a tentpole production. Maybe we do now. We didn't then. Second of all, I feel like you had to get that belt on Hogan to get your heat really rolling the way you wanted it to with the NWO. So I think Hog Wild was the right time to do it. And I think waiting would have not done anything for the NWO. You know what I mean?
So I agree with you to a certain extent, but I'm going to disagree with you more. I would have rather have them had him win the title at a named pay-per-view, maybe not all the way to Halloween Havoc in October or November. Why not like a fall brawl, or do it at like a bash at the beach? Don't do it at fucking Hog Wild. You're talking let's put it this way. There's five.
Well,
Well,
Bash at the Beach is when the turn happened, so you couldn't do it
well,
there.
I know, but something over that, like Great American Bash or something.
I just think the way the timing worked out, it just worked out for Hog Wild. And I think in the long run, doing it that way was the right way. Getting the belt on Hogan needed to happen, but the story had to develop a little bit first and then get the belt on him as soon as possible, which is what they did. So I think it was the correct thing to do.
Well, I just think you got to there's only 5,000 fans allegedly at this event. Why would you not want to wait to a major pay-per-view, i.e. Fall Brawl? I know you don't want to wait. I get what you're saying. You don't want to wait. You want to strike while the iron's hot, get the heat on him.
It doesn't matter if you have 25,000 fans in that place. It's the storyline is for the people watching the pay-per-view and Nitro the next night. Mm-hmm. Not just for those people sitting in the stands. So as much as I appreciate people that go and sit in the stands, and I do it myself, but that's not the end all be all. The story here is the long run story of the NWO. And I think it just had to happen here. Yeah. Plus the Giant was turning face kind of, and they had to do something there to get the heat back on the Giant, I think.
Yeah, but and he was going to be turning soon anyway, so it was just a matter of time before you might not have known it then. Obviously, you can probably figure it out now, but he's turning soon anyways. He needed a fresh paint of coat.
He did a face promo at the end of the last Nitro.
Yeah, the one that we did. Yeah. So thanks for those questions, Mike and Devin. We're actually going to transition over to a new segment that we talked about at the end of last week's episode.
All right, so we came up with a new segment here where we are going to play 2 wrestling theme songs each week, discuss them, and then rank them as far as the greatest theme songs of all time. So we're going to try and play, in our opinion, some of the best. Do 2 each week, see how far along we go. And our first one, we randomly drew 2 for the first week, and our first one comes from the late, great Owen Hart, from his original theme music in the 94-95 era of WWE. And with that said, RJ, let's listen to it.
All right, so that was Owen from when he was a Rocket, right?
Yeah, I think it was his heel music for sure there against Brett in 94, 95, 96, 97. They still played it, 97, like at 97 SummerSlam when I can't remember if they may have played the Hart Foundation, just the Brett music, but I think they did play that. I think that was just Owen's music for the most part. I love that music. I think it is a top 10 underrated theme song in wrestling. I love the little the opening and then how it goes into its little beat. It's an upbeat, fun theme song. I like it. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I agree with you as far as being underrated. For this time, it was good. It made it unique. When I think wrestling themes, it has to be unique. It has to give you the nostalgic feel. It has to bring you back to that time frame when this song came out, when this guy wrestled, when Owen wrestled this guy or that guy. It kind of does it for me. I was more of you're gonna kill me for this, where he stole Bret Hart's stuff when he was doing it at 10. I was more of a fan of that, but it is what it is. I'm not by any means
It's kind
disparaging
of it's kind of a forgotten theme song.
It is, yeah.
But like I said, I think it's solid. Obviously, we're gonna have to rank it number one because it is the only song we have to rank. So right now,
My
Owen
number two.
Hart's New Generation will be number one, and we will listen to our number two theme song. RJ, hit it. So spooky.
So we'll fade this kind of out here, Justin, real quick. Is obviously being the Undertaker. Man, I don't know what the hell it was though. To me, there's been two. There's been two, maybe three theme songs that you go on my phone or you go on Spotify or whatever, and they're on that playlist. Undertaker's one of them. When I've told the story on a few, we've had this discussion, I'm sure, is when you go to a live show and you see a wrestler and you are literally in a trance. You do not know where you are and you're just drawn into it. Over, man. And that's what the Undertaker's, him and Austin for obviously different reasons, but Undertaker more so of when I saw him at Survivor Series 2004 in Cleveland. He was facing Heidenreich. The match was absolutely dog shit, but it was one of the first times I saw his entrance.
I saw him in 1990 or 91 at a house show in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And the entrance scared me so bad that I still to this day have the same nightmare where I'm in that crowd that night and the Undertaker sees me and chases me through the backstage area and everywhere.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that music was freaky to me as a kid, but it's like you said, it's over.
But the thing is, especially in 1990, when you saw him compared to 2004, there's so many other special effects they've done. In 90, all they did was turn out the lights if you're lucky.
It was just the freaky music and
exactly.
him and Paul Bearer or Brother Love here, the hell was coming out with him. And, it was just scary, especially for a little stupid slapdick like me at the time.
Well, they had you hook, line, and sinker then. They had me too, I'll be honest with you.
And honestly, we all know this music is iconic. I think when you talk about, the most recognized entrances of all time, The Undertaker is probably number one. But does the music equate to the entrance? You know what I mean? Like his entrance and everything is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to judge the music by itself, not the complete entrance and everything, I guess is what we're talking about here.
So you're talking about it as far as a whole, on the whole, entrance, music.
I still think the music by itself definitely stands up very strong, and I think it should be ranked ahead of Owens. Wouldn't you say?
As much as painful as it is for you to admit that, I appreciate that because it is the right. It is the right way to do it.
Yeah, and you all know I love Owen. I named my dog after Owen. I love the song, but Undertaker's music is just so recognizable and iconic that there's no doubt that it slides into the one spot for this week. So we just wanted this segment to be a quick kind of end of the show segment for you guys where we're going to play a couple songs, talk about them, and rank them. So after the first week, we have The Undertaker, number one, and Owen Hart, number two, and we will introduce two new ones next week.
So like I said, if anybody has any suggestions on ones that you want to hear, certainly slide in our DMs. I am at _ringside rant. He is at JD2040. You can follow us on Instagram as well at _ringside rant as well. Check out the great merchandise store we have, ringsiderant.well4apparel.com. Got that new Halloween Havoc inspired shirt. Our man Frank Bruno bought one. I know they probably had to get like 2 shirts and sew them together for Mr. Bruno, but no, I kid. I love Frank.
Frank is sexy. I've seen him in person. He's even sexier in person, RJ. You've got to
he is a sexy boy.
yeah. Don't even get me started with him and that some bitch. Shawn Michaels.
So rumor and innuendo has it that there'll be a Frank Bruno shirt coming out soon. Rumor and innuendo has it. So we'll have to see what transpires with that.
Didn't there used to be a boxer named Frank Bruno? I think there was.
I haven't read it, Ben. We'll throw it in we'll Google the internet when we get off. But yeah, check that out.
I wonder if Frank Bruno's mom had an affair with the boxer Frank Bruno, and that's why she named him Frank Bruno. Of course, then the last name would have to fit with the person that she was actually screwing, so that just ruined my whole story.
Yeah, well, hey,
never mind. It's the end of the show. I'm sorry.
Just the fact that, I'm not gonna even. I don't want to disparage the good goddamn name of Mrs. Bruno. So follow us on social media. Follow us there at the merch store. Subscribe wherever you hear great podcasts, including the Shining Wizards Wrestling Network, Visionaries Global Media, as well as Full Press Coverage. Thank you guys for tuning in this week. Check us out next week when we're going to do a expose, if you want to say it. I don't know if expose is the right word, Justin, but we're going to honor the legendary Mr. Bobby Eaton. His I believe he is going to be, I got to look at my notes here. I totally forgot to write it down, which pisses me off. He is going to be, of course, now my phone is not working.
65? Would that be right?
Something about that. Anyways, yeah.
It's a birthday. It's a birthday.
It's his
Happy
birthday,
Bobby Eaton.
So next week,
and we're going to celebrate it.
Yeah, we're going to be covering Bobby Eaton next week. So if you have any questions, you want to be a part of the show as usual, send us your DMs or post them. I'm sure I'll be posting something coming up soon in regards to that.
Next week should be fun. Bobby Eaton is a guy that does not get talked about enough.
Oh no,
he is a guy that deserves his own show. What a worker. You know, he reminds me like of the Owen Hart of WCW. Their style and just they kind of remind me a lot of each other.
They never really got their just due, and I get what you're saying. I see what you're putting down there. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in this week to the Ringside Rant, and we'll see you back here next week, right in here in Ranters Nation.
Go Reds.